everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day. I'm super excited to have these two lovely ladies with me. Man, we have been on this journey for so many years together. I think Erin joined the boot camp in 2017 when I started it. And Kris, I think you came in the very next year, right? Was it 2018? Well, it feels like you've been here since the beginning, Kris. And I just want to do a huge shout out to both of them. Anytime I ask, hey, would you help me with this? Would you be willing to do this? Would you share and inspire others? The answer is always yes, as well, giving them a huge shout out that they really tap into all of my offerings. I have a mindset masterclass going on right now. We are looking in the direction of the truths that Michael Neal talks about in this book. And they both are on that faithfully every single week and contribute and help. When I know in leading small groups, these are two women that I'll always reach out to. They both have done, I think, both of the other book clubs that we have done as well. And so I just want to honor both of you and also encourage any of you who, if you find yourself withdrawing, that's not human. It's not human to isolate. It's not what's in our nature. It's not life living you're living life in withdraw. And so I encourage you, step in and tap in. And the only reason you're isolating is because you're choosing to do that. So there are free ways to be engaged in the boot camp. And of course, there are paid for ways. And I'm really proud of both of these women that they just keep stepping up. And let's bring you both in. I'll start with Erin and then Kris. Why, what compels you to keep saying yes to the offerings that I make?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the benefit from them. I was hesitant about the deep dive mastermind. I think we had 2 or 3 calls where you're just get over yourself, out the money, and let's go. And I was like, but I've never, and you have all these habitual thinking of spending that kind of money and doing that commitment for that long. And you just finally have to go, okay, fine, whatever, I'll do it. And then now I'm like, man, am I so glad I did that. New friendships and new insights and changes. And I think even my CAs are happy that I did that.
That brings up such a good point, Erin. How many times, and this really proves this point about us as human. And today on the Mindset Masterclass, we're going to be looking at truth, premises, and behaviors because they have a lot to do with burnout. And for those of you who aren't aware, from 12 to 1 Eastern is our Mindset Masterclass, and today is Burnout Part 2. And you're welcome to still be able to join that class. Hey, there's Michelle. Hey, Michelle, thanks for joining us. And so when we don't have an outlet, we often talk to our staff. And then our staff, it's fine to be friendly and it's fine to have friendships with them outside of the practice, but in the practice, it's business. And we're there to serve our people. So if before everyone gets there, let's say Kris and Erin and I all work together, and Kris is talking about her morning and oh, my husband this, and Erin's like, oh, my kids that, and I'm like, well, all of them together, then we're really swimming in each other's soup, and we're supposed to be getting grounded to serve our people. And not only that, but our team members don't have the tools by which to help us with those things, right? They're probably not having an understanding of mind, thought, and consciousness. So then they take our stuff, and I think innately they know, ooh, my boss has to be okay, or what is that going to mean about the business, right? So then they agree with us on stuff maybe they shouldn't be agreeing with us about, right? They certainly are rarely going to just show up helping us being able to see truth, which then just diminishes a team. And so what Erin said of her participating in the Women's Deep Dive Mastermind or the Mindset Masterclass then makes it that she has a community, but she can share these things and doesn't then present that to her team. So excellent point. Kris, what about for you? What compels you to keep saying yes?
It's a learning process. There's always more to learn, ways to grow. And I like the companionship, the friendships that we're building through this. Sorry. Once you stop growing, that's when you die. So continuing to get deeper into just the different aspects of my knowing, my thinking, and the business side of it it's good.
I agree with you. And in today's culture of chaos and sometimes feeling like, has everyone else just lost their minds? Like, wake up, right? Like, you can see truth here, right? Like, you can tell that MSM, like, they're all reading the same script. Like, you can really see that, can't you? And like, no. So what a refreshing container that exists when we can all come into Mindset Masterclass or into the boot camp and just be like, these are my people. Like, they get me, right? So it's almost like we get to plug in for a few minutes, get recharged to go out and not fight the fight, but serve and love. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, fill up with that ability to go, okay, I haven't completely lost my mind. And I find too that it's a wonderful place to get grounded again, right? To get our feet in and go, okay, yes, I'm on the right track. I'm looking in the direction of truth versus premise. So you both are doing chiropractic completely different. And so Kris, I'd like you to just like, let's have a conversation about where you were and where you are now and what a difference it is and how right it is for you. And one of the things that I want you to address is what you were able to drop, to let go of, to be in this position, which is a greater service of your talents.
Okay, so before I had my own practice. I was the only one there trying to do my own thing. But with 4 kids and the home and all that, was just my practice was struggling because I wasn't putting forth the effort. I didn't have the business know-how and I wasn't taking the time to learn it. And then COVID hit and my kids had to be at home to school, and it wasn't fitting with my lifestyle. And if I hadn't been in the boot camp, I wouldn't have had the courage to reach out to another doc in the area who I know has been growing very quickly, and they are expanding their practice to do what I imagined me doing in like 5 years, but he was already doing it. So I said, hey, are you looking to hire? And he said, we've considered it. He's like, let's meet and kind of see if we mesh well. So we Zoom conference stuff because of COVID stuff, whatever. But I joined his practice in March, and it has been such a weight lifted from me. I'm not stressing about the business part of it anymore, but I'm able to focus on my patients, reaching out to more of them, but then able to come home and still teach my kids, spend time with them. And now it's like, I got it all.
Nice. And I love that instead of just staying in your soup, instead of just being like, oh, well, maybe I just am not supposed to be a chiropractor. Maybe this just isn't for me. Maybe I'll do something else. You're like, well, wait a minute. Where there's a way, there's a will. Did everyone hear that? Where there's a way, there's a will. Not where there's a will, there's a way. Because what that says is and I'll give credit to Michael Neal on that one. It's in Effortless Success. It's interesting. I've probably listened to that book, I don't know, 20 times, 25 times. I don't know. And the other day I was listening, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard this yet. That's not true. It just didn't land, right? I didn't have the ears to hear that thing. And where there's a way, there's a will. And we often say and said, where there's a will, there's a way. And so we look all around for where's my motivation? Where's my motivation? What's wrong with me? I must not want to do this. Well, instead, if we look at where there's a way, what are all of the ways this can happen? Well, I can be an associate. I can be an independent contractor. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Then the will comes of, oh, that sounds like a way better fit for me. And I think this is such an important discussion to have as chiropractors, because the only way to deliver chiropractic isn't us owning our own practice. And let's face it, in serving more people and also helping spread out the weight of overhead, if we all come together, recognizing like Erin's a great lead doctor, Kris is an awesome associate, beautiful. If Kris didn't show up, the guy who owns the practice she works for wouldn't be able to keep doing more of what he loves, which is what is success, right? Doing more of what we love and stop doing what we don't love. And find the person who loves doing what you don't love to do. So then now they're like this. And then the next person is like this, which really calls us in to growth and expansion. Expanding consciousness. So super cool. And any of you who are acting as doctor now, as lead doctor, as owner doctor, and you want to explore, like, what would it really look like if I was an associate? And look, your life will change as associate. Kris, do you get to set all your own hours?
He's let me do that so far, and that's one of the things when we met to talk. I kind of told him I have 4 kids and I kind of need this, so he's been very willing to work with me. And I think that's why it's working so well. Mm-hmm. He's not pushing me in a corner to do, you have to do this stuff. He's letting me still do what I am good at and with my hours.
Yes. So listen, if you're a doctor owner right now and you want to expand your team, which includes adding chiropractors, please don't look for you. You're good at you. But if you try to have somebody else be you, disaster. And recognize it's better to have, if you have a puzzle, and if we dumped out a puzzle and they're all the same pieces, it's not a puzzle. But what a puzzle needs in order to make a beautiful picture is pieces that fit together. And I find so often that lead doctors are looking for somebody. I want someone who adjusts just like I do. Why? That's a terrible idea. Why not have lots of pieces to create this beautiful picture? Now, what if you work for somebody who says these are your hours? Well, that's one of the aspects that changes when you're an associate. When somebody is paying you, they also create your schedule. Now, you can be like Kris, and at the very beginning said, look, here's what I'm willing to do. Are you willing to do that too? And they're either going to say yes or they're going to say no. But it's like, like one of the habits to develop, I did a Facebook Live about this. I don't know, I think it was last week. There are 3 habits to develop to really know yourself. Number 1, do everything as if it really matters, as if it's the most important thing in the world. And in that moment, it is. Like right now, this is the most important thing in the world to me because I'm doing it. I'm not doing something else. I'm engaging with all of you. I'm here with my chiropractic sisters, my buddies, and sharing our lives with you. It is the most important thing in the world. And right now, you have said that watching this is the most important thing in the world. So number 1, do it as if it really matters. And do you know that if you hold back, you won't know yourself? And I use this example of how many individuals will say, oh yeah, I got bad grades, or I didn't do that well in practice, but I didn't really give it my all. Well, then you didn't know yourself. If you don't give it your all, leave it all there, you won't know. Like we watched American Ninja Warrior last night, and Jessie, whatever her name is, they call her, Can't remember her nickname. But man, she went for it. She was the only female that finished the course. And when she was on that last part, man, she was just going for it. And in that instance, it led to victory. But if she had gone for it and still hadn't like got to the very top of that thing, I'm guessing she still would have been pleased with her performance because she gave it her all. She gave it her all. So number one, give it your all. Number two, take holidays. Not vacations. A vacation is to vacate, to leave. A holiday is like, let's celebrate. And we can have a holiday every day. We can build those into our day if we're conscious about it. So a holiday. And if you haven't set your schedule for the rest of the year yet on taking holiday, please do so. If you're in the boot camp, then you'll use the vacation strategy. I'm going to change that to the holiday strategy in order to serve your people and let them know, like, I want to make sure you don't need me while I'm gone. So let's build up some health reserves in your spine, in your nerve system, in your body for while I'm gone, you won't need me. Let's partner together for that. And then teach them to do the same for their own. And then the third thing is tell the truth. And that's exactly what Kris did. She just faced the truth and told the man that she was interviewing for a job, like, here's the truth. This is what could get in my way. And this is what will make me a happy employee. You know, like as human, we're really good at rationalizing, right? And so we say, oh, well, I'll figure that out after I've already said yes. I'll then like tell them like, I want to only work these hours. Start with the truth. It's going to come up. It's going to make you miserable. It's going to make that person miserable. So Erin, what about for you? Like your business life has changed radically over the last couple of years. What you're doing now, like, wow, what a difference when you started doing what you wanted to do. Can you walk us through what happened?
Sure. So my mom and I practiced together. And then in 2019, I left her practice and opened my own practice a mile down the road. So in the same town with my mom, separate practices. And then I worked in that practice. I still have that practice. And then my mom passed away almost a year ago. So we had to close. I had to go back and close down all of her stuff. And I'm still dealing with all that. So now I have this accumulation of her practice members. The other chiropractor in town passed away like 2 months before my mom did. So now I have that accumulation. So it's like this sudden rush of people, which I'm super grateful for. And I'm the only chiro for 30 miles. So it's gotten to be a lot more challenging. But in the meantime, I've picked up my front desk person who was a practice member, and literally she's laying on the table. And I said, why don't you just come work for me? And she's like, why didn't you ask me months ago? So Emily's been there practically since I opened the doors. And then I hired a clinical CA, so I don't have to do any of my notes anymore. She puts all those in for me. I don't have to do any of that. She does all the vitals in my exam, stuff that I hated doing anyway. So it's taken that whole load off of me. It's just been, yeah, help is a great thing.
And especially because we can then find out what that person loves. So if you're looking for a clone of you, whether as a CA or as a doctor, they're going to love the same thing you do. And so you're going to be competing for doing those tasks. If instead you find a puzzle piece that fits with your piece and they love doing what you don't and they hate doing what you love, awesome, 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 awesome. Because that leads to more success. So Erin, let's talk about two things. Just because we start the race a certain way doesn't mean we have to keep racing, right? So just to be clear, how was the news received with your mom when you said, I'm going to go on my own? Like, because there are a lot of individuals that are in practice with a spouse or a parent or a best friend. And in their heart, they know, like, I got to do something different?
Yeah, it did not go well. There was a lot of blame. There was a lot of anger and hurt feelings and things like that. So it did not go as in my mind how I had imagined it going. It did not go like that at all.
Sounds like life. Right. I love an effortless success that Michael Neal quotes. I can't remember what president or leader, but basically plans put us in the direction, and then we live life. Right? Plans put us in the direction. So the plan was, and obviously that's what you followed through with, open my own practice, and then and then we live, right? And then life lives us. So here's the other thing I want to talk about is how many times, like even in the boot camp, have we seen individuals post, like, I took over for a doctor and now I want to know basically, where do I fit in? So your mom's practice members that you're now serving and the other practice, do you try to be them to this practice, to your practice members? Or what have you found to make that such a beautiful, just like flow with them? And this also applies to, let's say that Kris has been adjusting me forever. And then I moved to Mississippi and she refers me to Erin. And I'm like, oh, well, Dr. Kris did this and this and this and this. And if Erin tries to be Kris, what happens? And so, Erin, let's talk about what has been crucial for you to stay grounded in who you are in that relationship?
Sure. So I don't know about everybody else, but like in my consult, I always ask, have you ever been to the chiropractor before? And if they have, it's like, okay, so tell me about that experience. And then the next question is, what are your expectations of me as your chiropractor? Because I want to be able to take, okay, this is what you've experienced. These are what your expectations. And I want to try to adapt to each person. Now, I'm going to be honest. There have been some people who don't like me. That's okay.
I have a few of those.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, this is my office. This is how we do things. We're very transparent. We're very upfront about things. If you don't like that, then maybe we're not a good fit for you. And that's okay. There's no hard feelings and there's no judgment. If you don't want care here, then I will help you find somewhere else to go.
Absolutely. And with no charge. No, I don't mean money. With no charge, like, oh, I must be wrong. I must be this. I must be that. Like,
no.
Okay.
There's no emotional attachment to it at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just care for them as a person.
And I will drop this. If you are looking for an awesome opportunity to learn and grow and serve behind someone who I think has one of the biggest hearts on the planet, Erin is accepting applications for potential associates.
Absolutely.
So please get in touch with her. I will, I think I can, I was trying to figure out how I can show display names, but if both of you will just like drop like how you would like to be reached out to. So Kris, I offered people could get in touch with you if they're owner and want to move to associate, and what does that look like, and what did you bump up against that you could help navigate some of that for them, and Erin as well. Kris, let's bring this to you. Like, what do you find has been fundamental for you to stay grounded in a practice that isn't yours, but you very much have carved out your lane in that practice?
I really like your weekly meetings. So it's a good place to, if I have questions for other associates who are doing things, and kind of soundboard things off of them. Like, is there something different that I can do, but without like putting a strain on my boss quite yet? Because there are times where, yes, I go straight to him if I have a question about a certain aspect. But there's something that I'm just not sure. I'm just an associate part because it's new for him as well. this is his first time having an associate, having anybody else work with him. And so we're both learning different aspects of the sides of this. And so it's just nice having, this whole boot camp as my place to have that opportunity to talk to, instead of on my own struggling, not knowing what to do, how to do the next step. And then, because I feel like if I continue to struggle, it's not going to work out for either one of us. And then there's no point in me even being there. And so it's just having that, and then having, my days where I can just sit and actually physically ground myself and not be at the office all day long, every day.
And so I'm going to piggyback on that. Kris said, be at the office all day long, every day. Have you literally ever done that? Where there was a week's time, you were there all day, like sun up to sundown, for whether it was a week's time or a month's time or whatever. We never have, right? I mean, even I can remember, early on in practice when my ex would take the kids and go see his family or whatever. I just did that on live camera. It was true. It was really nice to have, like, sure, you go over there. At any rate, and I can remember being in the office a lot of hours, but you know what? I still went home. Even if it had been a lot of hours in the practice, I still went home. So we can feel like we're there all day, every day. And we say that. And here's what happens. When we take the office home with us, it feels like we're in the office all day. So what's the first rule in really knowing ourselves? Do whatever you're doing like it's the most important thing in the whole wide world. So when we're home, it's the most important thing in the whole wide world. Your children, your spouse, care for yourself, how you rest, how, like Kris said, like physically get grounded. Give it 100%. Your office is going to be there when you go back. Those problems that you took home, if you left them there, you can deal with them when you get back. So it also calls us into whatever you're doing, give it your all. And when you're in the office, that is not the time to be worried about or even engaged in personal matters. Oh, but when I have a break, it's really nice to be able to call and like get my bills paid or handle this thing or handle that thing. No. And when you're home, it's a terrible time to do work. It's kind of like, obviously you guys all know I work from home. Do you know, I don't come in here on the weekends or in the evening. It's like off limits. It's right here, but it is off limits to me. And I do my best work in here. It's in the same building, but I do my best work in here. And it's a great habit to get into. I do my best work when I'm at my office. So do work at your office and live. And not that we don't live. I want to make a distinction here that living joy, peace, and love is always on offer for us. It's what is human. So when you're at work, get as much joy and be in joy as much as you are at home. It's just two different things. So as we wrap this up, Kris and Erin, what final words do you want to share with those who are still with us and those who will watch this again? You can't hear me, either one of you?
I can hear you.
Oh, Erin can't hear me. Okay. So Erin, I'll post it. Kris, go ahead.
Find your tribe. I really feel like if you don't have people outside of work and family that enjoy, like, in your community, it's you suffer.
And it's a lot of responsibility on our family if we look to our family for all of our stuff, right? Like
Mhm.
if we expect them to understand what it feels like in practice, with the uncertainty of our practice members, with the jab, with all of that. And so it's nice to have that community to kind of like Kris even said about being an associate, to wrestle around with those concepts, because you know what, even her boss doesn't know her path. He's the boss, she's the associate. So it is, you know, misery loves company, and so does celebration. So Erin, I'm not sure if you can hear me. By the look on your face, you can't. So I think I'll say goodbye to all of you, and a huge thank you for the open conversation with Erin and Kris. Kris, if you can go back and in the comments just put like how you would want people to reach out with you. For those who are looking, I put Erin's website as well as email address in there. She sent that to me. And I put the link if you want to join the Mindset Masterclass. It's in 19 minutes. You can still do so. And what that does when you register, it will send you the link to be able to join us here at noon. And then we have, I think, 4 more classes after today. So we have next week, the 31st, and then September 14th and September 21st. So 3 more after today. So thank you, ladies. Have a wonderful day. God bless you all. See ya, and enjoy your